Hey friends! So today we are going to be reviewing our exponents. So let's look at this one. There might be a couple ways that we can read this. We have our base, which is the big number in blue, which is the 2, and the number of orange is the exponent. So we learned yesterday this is called 2 to the power of 2. Or you could remember that it's called 2 squared. Okay, so in an exponential expression, the base is the factor, and the exponent tells how many times you multiply that number by itself. Remember, base times base times base. The exponent tells you how many times you're multiplying the base by itself. So I'm going to have my 3, and I'm doing 3 to the power of 4. An exponent is the small number and referred to as the power. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, or 3 to the 4th power. An example to look at. 2 to the 4th, 2 to the 4th power. I take my 2 and I multiply it by itself 4 times. Remember, it is not 2 times 4. It is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So I wrote this in its exponential form. This is its factored or expanded form. This is my evaluated answer. That's my final answer, 16. Okay, 2 to the 4th power equals 16. So more exponents. This one says write as a product of factors. So all that means that it wants you to do for 3 to the 5th is write it out as a product of factors. Factored out 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Now this time it says write as an exponent. So that means I'm going to take my 4s. I'm going to count how many times I multiply it by itself. 1, 2, 3. 4 is going to be the base. 3 is going to be the exponent. 4 to the 3rd power, or 4 cubed. All right? And then lastly, it says evaluate. Evaluate means I actually have to solve. And to solve, I probably need to write it in factored form like I did at the top, which means that I'm going to take 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and then my answer would have been 64. All right? Now, this is kind of an interesting way of thinking about exponents because you can actually take shapes. What is the shape that I see? The shape is a circle. How many times am I multiplying circle times circle times circle? 3 times. So it's circle cubed. This time it has little square little hexagon things, right? And so the yellow block could be called y. How many times am I multiplying times y, the block? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So y to the 5th power. Kind of confusing, but just to show you, just in case it ever showed up on a higher testing thing. Okay? Now, so what you're going to do today for me as you are reviewing is you're going to pull out your piece of paper that you did that's in your packet, and you're going to write down these answers. Now, obviously, I'm going to give you some time to do it, but obviously just pause. And then once you finish these 3, hit play, and the answers are going to show up, all right? And then we'll move on to the next ones, right? And once you're done with the whole thing, you're going to post it on Class Dojo. So what I want you to do while you are doing these problems is if you get it right, great, just leave it alone. But if it's wrong and you got it wrong, circle it so that when you post your picture, I can see how many you got wrong, what you were struggling with, what you did wrong, and how I can help. Okay? So to look at this slide, what it wants you to do is write an exponential form. You are not solving these. You are not actually evaluating these answers. You are just writing them in exponential form. So all I am doing is I am taking that 4. I'm counting how many times I am multiplying it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this first one would be 4 is the base, and then the exponent would be 5. 4 to the 5th. Did you get that one? Now, the next one, number 2, which these numbers are weird, is 12 times 12. So how many times am I multiplying by 12? 2. 12 to the second power, all right, or 12 squared. Then the third one, 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 to the sixth power. All right, let's move on to number 4. Now this time, all it's doing is asking you to factor it out. Write out the actual problem. You're expanding it. You're not solving. It does not say evaluate. It just says to factor. So pause me, solve them, and then hit play. Okay, when you're ready. All right, number 4, we're going to have 6 times 6 times 6. Number 5, 43 times 43, 2 43s. 0.3 times 0.3 times 0.3 times 0.3 times 0.3, 5 times. 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, 5 times. 15, 4 times. And 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Not so bad, huh? Okay, this time it does actually want you to evaluate. So pause me again. It wants you to actually solve them. So the first thing that I would do is write it out, stretch it way out, and then solve it and see if you got the right answer. Okay, if you're ready, 10 to the fourth power is going to be 10,000. Notice, fourth power, so that how many zeros do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Not too bad. 5 to the fourth, 625. 6 to the third, 216. And hopefully you realize, oh, I just had to multiply by 6 again. 1,296. And then times 6 a third time, 7,776. All right. For 15, 16, 17, write as an exponent. So this time it's in expanded form. It wants you to write it in exponential form. So pause me, write those down, and then hit play when you're ready. All right, the first one is going to be 6 to the fifth, 74 to the third, and 0.4 to the fourth. Okay, 4/10 to the fourth. All right, standard form also means is another way of saying evaluate. Evaluate those 3. And those are your last ones, I think. Okay. Are you ready? 2 to the 6th is 64, 2,401, and then 4 to the 5th is 1,024. All right, so a quick review. This is 5 to the second power. That's going to be that last question. Which number is the exponent? The 5. Which is the 2. The base is the 5. Factored form is 5 times 5. Standard form, 5 times 5 is 25. That also, you will also see this called evaluate. Evaluate. How do you say this? 5 to the second power, or 5 squared. And then this one, the exponent is 3. The base is 7. Factored form, 7 times 7 times 7. Standard form is 7 to the third power, or 343. 7 to the third power, or 7 cubed. Okay? All right, make sure you send me your picture and let me know how you did on your review today.